everyone. My name is Davis, Lynette, and I am so glad to have you here with us for this year's Be the Change series. I am super excited about this next guest. I have been trying to get her on the show for, well, basically for I've known her and about as long as I've had this show. So finally, I stalked her enough, got her here. So, without further ado, I would love to introduce to you Miss Kelly Master. And actually, it's Kelly Smith Master.
I'm good with you. Hello.
Welcome, Kelly.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I am honored.
Awesome. So, Kelly, tell us about the work that you do.
Okay, I will. I have a nonprofit organization, and the title is For Dignity. And what we stand for is we are strengthening our communities against sexual exploitation, and our heartbeat is to empower victims and survivors with hope and dignity. And we do that through 5 strategic keys that we use. One, we engage the community on the topic because the only way to see a change is to let people know that there's an issue. So we engage the community, we educate. We're also mobilizing key partnerships with leaderships in our community, with our police force, with people in government officials, things of that nature, because we believe it's a community issue and we need the whole community on board. We are connecting. We go out and we connect with women who are on the streets, who are being exploited. We go out into strip clubs and we go out into the adult industry with the idea that we are going to reach out. We're going to build bridges into these places and offer these women hope, encouragement, support, resources, not just go in there and say, hey, it's going to get better, but actually get in there and in the mud with them and let them know that here are tangible ways that we can help you. We want to resource them and we want to empower them and offer them choices so that they can make decisions for themselves with what they want. So we want to help a woman get from one place to the other place of empowerment, and we want to give her everything that she needs to do that.
Awesome. So there was a lot of different things and themes going on with what I was hearing from you. One of the biggest things that stood out to me was that you were talking about sexual exploitation of these women. And
yes,
for those of you who don't know, I met Kelly when I first saw her social media posts. Because when I told her this when we finally met in person, that one of my independent studies was actually on human trafficking when I was in college at Rutgers. I was most engrossed or most interested in the work that Kelly does, because at that time I wanted to be the change through that independent study. But I know that there are other people who may have done something similar, or they're hearing about trafficking. They're not sure what they can do and how they can get involved. So what does Be the Change mean to you, Kelly, as somebody who's actively engaged in this type of work?
That's a great question. I think especially in light of today with social media and, we hear so many stories, we see so many things going on. We all comment, like, repost, and, do our thing on social media, but then we just skip right on to the next subject. And to be the change, you need to engage. Like, it's one thing to be upset about something, but it's another thing to actually engage yourself to be part of that solution. It's putting feet to those passions in my heart, those disruptors that say to me, this is unfair, this is not just. It's more than just saying those things. It's actually putting some action to it. It's getting out. It's being a little uncomfortable. It's taking a stand. It's educating myself. It's educating others. But more than that, getting out there and be willing to roll my sleeves up and get my feet and my hands dirty on issues that truly matter. And for me, the issue of human sex trafficking matters. I'm passionate about it. So being the change is vital, because if we just flip the news channel or flow through our news feed on Facebook or the internet or on social media, we're not really partaking in any kind of change of that issue, no matter what that issue is. If we're passionate about something, the way to be the change isn't to yell, to scream, to post things on the internet. Posting things are fine if we're raising awareness, but we need to put action behind that so that we can people to action through making them aware of a situation. Then we will see the change. The change only comes after action. So that's why in order to be the change, we need to be willing to put action, and that can look many different ways for many different people. For me, it just happens to be, I'm a public advocate. I'm a community advocate. I get out there and I educate people and I take action. Other people can do it, whatever their sphere of influence is, whatever their platform is. They could be a baker down the street and they could use their talents, their gifts to be the change in their community on whatever issue is important to them.
Awesome. Awesome. And you know what? Because you were talking about engaging with the community and taking action. So what if somebody is hearing this today and they're going, human trafficking? I didn't even know that really existed. Some people are going, slavery ended such and such a years ago, and they don't associate trafficking with slavery. I do personally. I think it is.
Right.
And so they're going, whoa, of children.
Right.
What would someone who's listening going, I want to get involved, what would that look like for them?
Okay, well, the first thing I would encourage them to do is to get online and do a little research. And literally, if you just type human trafficking New Jersey, you will sit there and your head will spin, or whatever state this person who wants to get engaged is from, and you type that in, and then you begin to just do a little research, because you need to know what you're dealing with. And as your eyes begin to open to the reality of how great of an issue human trafficking is and how complex it is, that it's not just simply about a woman right now or a child being sold. Even after we rescue that woman or that child, we're now dealing with a myriad of issues of post-traumatic stress and all these other things. So if a person wants to get engaged, the first thing they need to know is what it is that they're engaging with. So they need to get they need to educate themselves. They need to get onto Google and, go onto our website, fordignity1.org, go on to Polaris, which is another fabulous one. There are many different fantastic resources out there. Then once that person equips themselves with enough knowledge that they can be part of the change, there are many things that they can do. One of the very basic common ways that I ask people to engage in our community is I have thousands of these little human trafficking hotline numbers. And they seem so simple, but this could save someone's life. You put this into a restroom at the gas station, at the mall, at rest stops on your vacation. I put them every time I travel. I've been traveling all summer. I put them all over the airport. Everywhere I go, I leave this little card. It's the human trafficking hotline number, and it says, hey, are you being held against your will? Do you need help? Here is this telephone number. And those little cards are saving people's lives. I would get people to hang up human trafficking hotline posters, make human trafficking survivor backpacks, where, when a woman or a child is rescued off the street, that all they have is the clothes on their back, that they have this little, a little care package that has, a pair of slippers and a pair of pajamas in there and a little journal and a pen and a little note of affirmation that says you are loved and we care about you. I mean, there are dozens. There's a multitude of ways that they could get involved. I have many listed on my website. other websites have some as well. They're willing, if they want to reach out and send me an email. But my first thing is getting yourself engaged is educating yourself, because once you're educated, you are dangerous. You are dangerous to whatever topic you approach, because if you know what you're dealing with, you can take it down or make some serious impact on it if you know what you're doing. And then once you know what you're doing, you can then take appropriate steps. There are so many ways. There's some basic ways I mentioned, but there are much deeper, more complex ways. Some people, one of the things that I do is I get on the internet, and when I read an article that a newspaper columnist writes that says a 14-year-old prostitute was arrested, I get very upset about that, because a 14-year-old is not a prostitute. That's called child rape. And so I will rate that columnist. I will take my time and I'll write that columnist, and I'll let them know that labels matter. How we identify that young victim matters. Now, that might not seem like a big deal to anybody else, but that is one way to engage on this issue, is to make sure that your eyes, that your feet, that your heart is out there in the community and approaching it on many different levels. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but they're just some basic ways.
No, that is so important. I love what you said about something as simple as reaching out to a journalist to say, no, I totally get that, as a mental health advocate, because when you have those things and you're somebody that's rescued, and you go back and you're reading these things because they're going to come up, they're a part of your history. You're reading that,
right?
In its own way, it's kind of shaming you. It's shaming you.
Yeah.
So I think that was really helpful and really important, and it's something so simple. It totally flew over my head of something that can be done. So I'm so appreciative of that particular piece of advice.
Right. Yeah. And then even like supporting local organizations, no matter where, whoever is listening, or supporting local organizations and helping them. I mean, I know our organization, we're just one of many, in the state of New Jersey, but, we're a grassroots effort. We're not making big paychecks. We're not making any money. This is like a passion in our hearts. We are, driven and compelled to strengthen our communities against this subject and to empower women. And so we are out there and we're doing the legwork, and it's tiring, and it's, and it's a lot, but we're driven to do that because we are so passionate about the issue. But people that are listening, like, how could I get involved? How could I get engaged in this issue? Connect with us, connect with a different organization that's already paving the ground, that's already made ground, made the path out there, and people that are already forging the road on this issue. Come up beside them and work with them, help with them. We have 2 human trafficking safe homes that are going to be opening in 2018 in New Jersey. And that's awesome. That's like fantastic. They're going to need a lot of resources, not just financial. They're going to need people working there, volunteering there. They're going to need care packages. They're going to need food for the girls, toiletries for the girls. Like, these are just some basic general ways to help victims of human trafficking, and to be an advocate out there in our community, and to let them know, like, I can't go to your church or to your place of influence, but you can, and you can say, hey, we need, 20 care packages with some toiletry items for these young girls that were just rescued from the hands of traffickers in our state. I mean, Lynette, I know I'm kind of off here, but I don't know if you realize, like, a couple of years ago, they had a massive sweep, and it was called Operation Cross Country, and 150 traffickers across the United States were arrested. 105 children under the age of 18 were rescued. 70 of those traffickers from the whole United States were from our state of New Jersey. So almost 50% of those selling children across our country were right here in our state of New Jersey. So not only do we need to be aware of it, yes, we need to engage and start taking some action, so that when those children get rescued, 24 hours later, when they're reading that they were, quote, a prostitute in the newspaper, they're not back in the hands of a pimp, that they have a community that says, hey, I see you. And we are here for you, and we are going to cheer you on. But more than that, we are going to build you up. We're going to offer you resources, for those listening that may be a licensed psychologist or a counselor. We need life coaches. We need counselors. We need people who will help these children and women when they are rescued, who can then say, you know what, we can help you either reduced rate or pro bono, because these girls don't have money to get counseling, but they're dealing with post-traumatic stress. I'm working with people to get these girls right into addiction recovery groups, because many of them are addicted to deal with the trauma of being sold and raped over and over again. So it's not just like, oh my goodness, just making people aware. I need like people across the spectrum, people in colleges who will help these girls get to the next level, because they need a job now, but the stigma on them is, hey, I was a prostitute, or I've been working in a strip club for the last 7 years, and now what do I do? What do I put on my resume? So I need I need the whole spectrum of the community to help me to get this girl to the next level in her life, to transition to a healthy place. It's more than just getting her out of the hands of a pimp. It's a holistic approach for this young woman.
That's so important, and it's so good to hear that. And as a mental health advocate, of course, I am totally behind encouraging the licensed psychologists, licensed clinicians to please definitely Dr. Kelly. If what she is saying is striking a chord within you, going, you know what, I can give that. I can help with that. I have a group, and by all means, let me tell Kelly about this group so that the girl can group.
Yes.
So yeah, awesome. I want to backtrack, because there are so many different things that you were talking about. I want to go back to the baker. Because sometimes I think with business owners who might work in corporate, or they might work in a local bakery and things of that nature, and they're like, well, I'm not a psychologist, and I'm not a counselor, and I don't have time to go put up posters, but they still want to be the change and help in something like this. Something like this is like, well, yeah, I can get behind something like that. How can we combine our superpowers, business owners, with organizations such as yours, and create real impact?
Oh my goodness, there are so many things that I could share, but one of the biggest that our heartbeat right now is we want to have these enrichment/empowerment days. And what the vision of that is we want to invite, when we go out into the strip clubs, out into the sex industry, where these women are being sexually exploited. Not every single one is a victim of human trafficking. Many are and don't even realize it with their pimp boyfriend. Many are in domestic violence situations. Many are just being degraded on a daily basis in the midst of they say, well, you must know this, being in the mental health facility, having that background, they say that women in the sex industry, those who have been trafficked, those who have been sexually exploited, working in the sex industry, that they suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder at the same rate as a returning war vet. Now, the difference is they are in a situation and in an environment every single day where triggers are going off. 8 to 12 hours a day. They're physically being, treated really bad. They're in high heels all night. They're in a real bad situation. So we want to get these women, our vision is to have these enrichment empowerment days. And what that's going to look like is we invite these women, we see almost 400 of them a month, invite these women to a safe, neutral place where they can come for free, bring their children. There'll be some food offered, and there'll be some keynote, inspirational, motivational speakers. But what we want to do is have it be a place where they are flooded with resources, not that we force on them, but that we invite them and make them available. So all these people in corporate America, that is on my biggest to-do list this upcoming year, is I want to reach out, because I want corporate America to get behind this so that we can have the resources in this room, where it might be 3 tables over here that for the people that you're talking about right now that are interested, but, oh, how can I help? Well, maybe we can have a little mini job fair over here where you're offering entry-level positions to these women, and without the shame of attached to where they've been and what they have done. They now want a to change. They want to transition. We need some corporate people who will say, you know what, we'll help you make that happen without exploiting you further. I need, other resources available across the board, whether it's helping girls with GED, whether it's helping them with interview skills, whether it's helping them get an outfit to wear to an interview, whether it's, across the board for Business America. I need them at these enrichment empowerment days to get behind me, not only financially, but physically, to be there and to have those fiscal resources for their business, for their line of work. I have girls that love bacon that are working in a strip club, but they've been told by the actions and inactions of men their whole entire lives that all they're good for is sex. And so they're dancing on a strip pole. I have artists, the most creative, beautiful artists, sitting in the middle of a dressing room in a dark strip club because they don't know their worth and their value. But if we can empower these women and not only go to where they are, put them on our shoulders, push them out, and then bring them to an environment where all these women you're talking about, business professional women, can meet with them eye to eye and say, we believe in you, sister. And not only do we believe in you, we're on equal playing ground, and I'm going to help you get to the next level. When corporate America can get behind that and show up and say, we're not going to put labels on you, but we're going to offer you a job, or we're going to offer you classes, the baker that we were speaking about, well, they might not be able to do anything else. They may not be a great public speaker. They may not know what else to do. What if they offered a free bacon lesson once a month where, hey, ladies, I'll teach you how to bake. I'll show you the tools of the trade. Just think, I believe, Lynette, everything in me says whatever we have, it can be used to empower someone. Like it just can. Like whether you're a public speaker, whether you're a creative writer, whether you're an artist, whether you're the CEO of the top financial firm in Pennsylvania, there is something within each one of us that we are able to offer to the next person who doesn't have it.
Awesome. There were so many wonderful things, and I'm looking forward to your empowerment days. I'm definitely going to reach out because I'm already like, oh, I'm thinking of some collab.
I need, like, and this is the thing is, I have great vision. I need the resources. I need a place to host this. I've had churches step up, but I don't want it at a church. I want it at a neutral place, a community center, somewhere where these girls are like, I don't want to go to church. I want to go to this place though and be empowered and enriched. And they walk away with tools in their belt, with resources in their belt, and knowing that there's a community of women behind them, not shaming them, but rooting them on and cheering them on. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, not at all. I'm just like, yeah. Awesome. So, before we go, Kelly, could you leave us with one final actionable piece of advice that you can give someone who is wanting to either get involved with your nonprofit, or possibly start their own little fiscal sponsorship project on the side that could, contribute to this movement?
My one little bit of advice is just do it. I'll steal it from Nike. Yeah, just do it. Just, we can overthink. We can try to make it perfect. We can say, well, one day, this is in my heart. I'm a firm believer. If you have a fire in your heart, if you have a dream in your heart, if you have a seed in your heart, plant it. Just do it. It will grow. When I started this in 2011, I didn't have anything in place other than a passion and a fire in my heart. And once you begin walking that out, things will change and grow and explode. And I just firmly believe, I ask if somebody's interested in partnering with me, I am all for it. But yes, I say just do it. If they need a little more insight, feel free to call me, email me. But if somebody wants to do this, I can tell you this. every single month. I meet hundreds of women, and they are worth it. They are worth it. Investing in someone's life is worth it. It's more worth it than investing in a car, in a house, in a vacation home. When you invest in someone's future, you are investing in generations. You are investing in legacy. When you help one woman, when you empower one woman, she becomes a different mother, a different daughter, a different woman. When you empower a woman, you truly do empower a community. You really do. Oprah Winfrey said it, when you empower a woman, when you educate a woman, when you empower a woman, you can change the world. And I am a firm believer in that. I have seen girls' lives and destinies change because one person believed in them. And I'm a firm believer of this because I'm a product of this. You know, you don't know my past. We don't have time for that now. But by all rights and means, I should be dead from the addictions, the abuse, the insanity, the hopelessness. But one person came up beside me and believed in me and poured into me and cheered me on and loved me when I didn't know how to love myself. And my whole life has changed, and now I have been able to do the same for others. When we pour into one woman, when we take the time, and we take the money, and we take the energy to invest in a woman, you're placing value on her. Because where you put your money and time, you're placing value on her. And when that one woman knows that somebody sees value in me, even though I don't see value in myself, but somebody else sees value in me, that changes the whole game for that woman for the rest of her life. And that's what I want to leave your listeners with, because they are worth it. These women out there that have been used, broken, traumatized, torn apart, they are suffering, and they need to know that we see them, that we care about them, and that they are worth it.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. I love it. Kelly, could you tell us one more time? I know you said it already, but can you tell us one more time, for those who want to check out your organization, what is your website?
Yes, it's www.fordignity1.org, and that is the word FOR, for dignity, the number 1.org. So www.fordignity1.org. Please do. Please get on our mailing list, get on our email list so that we can stay connected and we as a community can have a greater impact to help these women and children.
Awesome. And everyone, of course, I'll put Kelly's contact information on the blog as well as on my YouTube channel where this video will be uploaded. Kelly, again, thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited. We haven't talked in a while since we first met, but obviously, thanks to social media and me being on your list, I have been able to contact, keep up to date with you. And I'm just really appreciative of having you here and closing out this season of the so
well, thank you very much for your patience and your faithfulness to endure and persist and reaching out to me. Thank you.
No, I was totally determined. I was like, I have to have her. So.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
To it.
Well, you're awesome. I appreciate you.
Awesome. And you know who else is awesome? You are, viewers. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in to this year's Be the Change series. Until the next time, peace, love, and cookies.
Awesome. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.